The introduction to survivor stories and coping mechanisms serves as a foundational glimpse into the journey of individuals who have faced and overcome the profound challenges of abuse by a father. By definition, a coping mechanism refers to the strategies individuals employ to manage stress, trauma, or difficult emotions. In the context of survivor stories, these mechanisms are personalized tools that enable individuals to reclaim autonomy, build resilience, and foster healing in the aftermath of familial abuse. The significance of understanding these stories lies not only in acknowledging the courage and strength of survivors, but also in recognizing the transformative potential of effective coping strategies that can inspire others facing similar adversities. Real-world examples abound, illustrating how diverse these coping mechanisms can be. For instance, consider a survivor who turns to art therapy as a means of expression and healing. Through painting or drawing, this individual might find a nonverbal outlet to process complex emotions and memories, transforming trauma into a catalyst for creative exploration. Alternatively, another survivor might find solace in a support group where shared experiences forge a community of understanding and solidarity, providing both emotional support and practical strategies for navigating the challenges of recovery. Advocates of discussing coping mechanisms emphasize their critical role in not just survival, but thriving post-trauma. They argue that showcasing these stories challenges the stigma surrounding abuse and mental health, encouraging others to seek help and embrace their vulnerability as a strength. However, discussions around coping mechanisms are not without potential controversies or challenges. For one, the highly individual nature of coping strategies means what works for one person may not be effective for another, potentially leading to frustration or feelings of inadequacy among those whose healing journey is slower or less as linear. Moreover, some critics caution against overemphasizing personal resilience, which may inadvertently shift responsibility away from systemic change needed to address abuse and its perpetrators. This exploration of coping mechanisms and survivor stories intricately connects to broader themes of healing, empowerment, and societal education on abuse. By shining a light on these individual narratives, we also underscore the importance of accessible resources and supportive networks in fostering recovery. The shared insights and revelations from these stories can influence public perception, policymaking, and ultimately guide strategies in mental health and social services, reinforcing the critical nexus between personal resilience and community support in overcoming the shadow of familial abuse. Understanding abuse, particularly in the context of familial dynamics, is crucial for comprehending the complex relationships between children and fathers where abuse is present. Abuse, in this context, refers to any form of physical, emotional, psychological, or sexual harm inflicted by a father figure upon their child. The dynamics of these relationships can be extraordinarily complex and are often characterized by cycles of power, control, and psychological manipulation, deeply impacting the child's development and future relationships. The significance of understanding these dynamics lies in its ability to inform effective coping strategies and therapeutic approaches. Recognizing the specific patterns and triggers associated with father-child abuse is essential for survivors seeking to overcome the trauma and reclaim their sense of self and agency. It also sheds light on broader societal issues, such as the often unquestioned authority of paternal figures and the long-lasting effects of familial abuse, prompting necessary conversations about prevention and support. Consider the story of Claire, who faced years of emotional and physical abuse from her father. Her journey toward healing began only when she recognized the cyclical nature of abuse and her role in breaking that cycle for her own children. Another example is Adam, who used his understanding of the abusive dynamics he experienced to fuel his advocacy for other survivors, emphasizing the importance of breaking the silence and seeking support. These examples underscore the transformative power of understanding abusive dynamics as a pivotal first step in recovery. However, challenges and controversies do exist. Some argue that focusing too heavily on understanding dynamics may inadvertently place blame on victims for not recognizing or fixing the cycle sooner. Additionally, societal views on fatherhood and masculinity can complicate the recognition and acceptance of abuse, as these roles are traditionally empowered and respected, sometimes leading to disbelief or dismissal of allegations. Despite these challenges, recognizing the dynamics of abuse profoundly influences coping mechanisms, as it forms the foundational understanding from which survivors can rebuild trust, establish boundaries, and foster healthy relationships. It directly impacts the choice of therapeutic interventions and personal recovery paths, tying back to the main theme of survivor stories by illustrating the resilience and strength required to emerge from such circumstances. Understanding these dynamics is an essential aspect of comprehensive healing, shedding light on why survivors behave and react as they do, and providing a roadmap for others navigating similar turmoil. In the realm of trauma and survival, early coping strategies refer to the immediate mechanisms and instinctive responses individuals deploy in the face of abuse, particularly when it involves a father figure. These strategies are often driven by survival instincts and are the body's and mind's natural response to protect and preserve oneself in the moment of crisis. They are crucial to understand because they lay the groundwork for how individuals navigate the complexities of abuse and its aftermath. At its core, early coping strategies are significant because they shape the foundation for long-term resilience and healing. Surviving abuse requires immediate reactions that can range from physical withdrawal to emotional numbing. Such responses help individuals endure the immediate trauma, allowing them to manage pain and fear and maintain a sense of control over their environment, however precarious that control may be. Consider the example of a child who mentally escapes to a safe place during episodes of abuse by daydreaming or focusing intensely on pleasant thoughts. This form of dissociation acts as a mental refuge, preventing complete emotional overwhelm. Another instance could involve an older child leveraging humor or trying to appease the abuser to diffuse tension, thereby using tactical social strategies as a shield. Experts like psychologists and social workers often highlight the adaptive nature of these early coping strategies. They recognize that while these responses may not be sustainable long-term, they are vital for immediate survival, enabling individuals to reach a point where they can seek help and begin the healing process. Challenges surrounding early coping strategies often lie in their misinterpretation. Critics might view them as maladaptive or even suggest that they contribute to perpetuating cycles of abuse. However, it's important to acknowledge that these responses are not reflective of a person's character, but rather their survival mechanism in distressing situations. These early strategies connect with wider aspects of the healing journey. Over time, individuals may need to reassess these initial responses, transitioning from mere survival to more constructive coping mechanisms like therapy or support groups. Understanding these early responses is essential for anyone working with survivors, as it allows for a compassionate, informed approach that respects the complexities of human defense mechanisms. By recognizing and valuing early coping strategies, we pave the way for deeper understanding and support of survivors on their path to recovery. Long-term psychological and emotional coping techniques are strategies and methods adopted by individuals to manage and mitigate the lasting effects of trauma, such as abuse by a father. These techniques aim to help survivors process their experiences, regain control over their emotional states, and improve their overall well-being. Such mechanisms often involve a combination of emotional regulation, cognitive reframing, and support systems, enabling survivors to constructively navigate the complexities of their emotional landscapes over time. The significance of long-term coping techniques in the context of overcoming abuse by a father lies in their potential to transform a survivor's life. While the immediate aftermath of abuse can be overwhelming, these techniques provide a pathway to healing and resilience. For many survivors, the journey involves reclaiming a sense of safety, trust, and autonomy, elements crucial for healthy relationships and personal development. Examples of these coping techniques include mindfulness meditation and cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Mindfulness meditation helps individuals increase awareness of their emotions and detach from destructive thought patterns, which can reduce anxiety and depression. CBT, on the other hand, involves restructuring negative thought processes and beliefs related to the abuse, promoting healthier attitudes and behaviors. Both methods have been widely supported by mental health professionals for their effectiveness in fostering psychological resilience and emotional stability. Studies and expert opinions often highlight the importance of personalized approaches when adopting coping mechanisms. Not every technique works for every individual, hence, tailored interventions are crucial. Additionally, the role of a supportive community, whether friends, support groups, or online forums, can amplify the effectiveness of individual coping strategies, providing validation and shared experiences. However, challenges and controversies exist. One significant challenge is the stigma associated with seeking psychological help, which can deter individuals from pursuing these coping mechanisms. Furthermore, some critics question the universality of certain techniques, suggesting cultural and individual differences in how people process and recover from trauma. Connecting this point to broader aspects of surviving abuse, long-term coping techniques are foundational for rebuilding one's life. They influence the ability to form and maintain positive relationships, pursue personal and professional goals, and foster self-worth and identity beyond the shadow of abuse. In essence, these techniques are not just about managing symptoms but transforming lived experiences into narratives of strength and empowerment. They are integral to the healing journey, offering survivors the tools to create a future defined by resilience, not solely by their past traumas.